Okay, before we go much further, we need to have a philosophical discussion about where and how to listen to events. Choice number one is every single event is screaming at you nonstop. As soon as I clicked on the radio button, okay, as soon as I clicked on it, it screamed, hey, somebody clicked on me, somebody clicked on me. So, yep, an event was just fired. Yep, another event was just fired. Yep, an event was 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 fired. All these events are being fired, and I'm not listening to any of them. What I did is I chose to defer the processing of the form until the end. You know, like a typical form, right? You know, you fill in your name and address and whatever it is you're doing, and then you hit like a submit button. Well, the submit button is the one that says, okay, thank you for filling out the form. Now, as soon as you hit submit, I'm going to go check it out for input validation and that kind of stuff. I'm going to read what options you've clicked in your radio buttons and checkboxes and list views, and then I'm going to process them. That's the style that I typically use. I typically do not listen to that radio button got clicked. I don't listen to that event. I don't listen to somebody selected pickles, okay? But that is in the book. So if you go to page, 848, they have an entire section about how to listen to changes in this list view guy. Because remember we talked about it, it was one of those interesting observable list things. Okay, so the next one we need to talk about is a combo box. Now, technically a combo box is very similar to a list view. It just takes up less room. Now, I kind of like the fact that it takes up less room. That's just me. All right, so let's go build us one of these guys. So I'm going to do combo box. CMB1 is equal to new. Oh, by the way, I do need to tell what the primary data type is, string. CMB1 is equal to new combo box. Okay, and of course it's going to say combo box. What the heck is that? Okay, cool. So now I have a combo box, and so I need to add some stuff to a combo box, right? I can kind of probably do the exact same thing. In fact, let me see if I can just copy and paste some of this stuff. CMB1, is there a get items? Why, yes there is. Cool. Is there an add all? Why, yes there is. And so I'm going to grab these guys since I don't like typing. Okay, cool. Let me add this guy on. And this is going to be CMB1. And let's fire it up again. Now, again, these controls are remarkably similar. It's just one of them takes up less room than the other. That's it. So down here is my combo box where I can pick cheese, pickles, or mustard. Okay? And now, let's just say that in your form design, that you wanted this to be something that was mutually exclusive and therefore did have a validation problem with state. In other words, just like the radio buttons, let's say you had to have one of these things. Like maybe this one was, are you a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or graduate? So you have to be one of those, okay? You cannot be none. You have to be one of those classifications. So again, how do I go in here and tell it which one is currently selected? Now, one of the reasons I like a combo box is I can go in there and just basically tell it what the text is. I don't have to go anything special. I could just basically say CMB1, and then I can do set text. Whoop, no, I can't. I can go in and and set the property of this guy to basically show what I want the thing to be. I can do select and then do a select by name. So in other words, instead of saying select something stupid, I can go in here and say I want this guy. Dang it. Let me start over. Get the selection. Come on, behave. Help me out here. I want the get Come on. How come the IntelliSense is not working now? That annoys me. Anyway, get selection model. Okay, just like we've done before. And after I've gotten the selection model, then I basically just want to select one of the items. So I just say select, and I can just do it with string. I can say mustard. So this is actually a little bit easier than the one here about selecting first, that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. And so this is going to make it so that it's, again, like mutually exclusive, and therefore I have to pick at least one. I mean, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, but let me just put it this way. If you wanted it so that it had to have one thing in here, okay? So I kind of like this guy because he doesn't take up hardly any room. It's a little easier for him to do a default, and further, it's even easier for him to come up with how to determine if it's been selected or not. That one's actually easier because all you basically have to do is just ask it what the text is. And that's the easiest thing in the world. You don't have to do anything special. So I can go in and say combo box, get selected index. That's one way of doing it. So anyway, I just kind of like it because it's a lot easier than in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to add a text field in here just for no particular reason. So let me just go here and do text field tf1 is equal to new text field. Okay, and of course it's never heard of a text field before in its entire life. Okay, so one of the things I want to do here is I want to select this item and tell it that it has focus. In other words, if you pick the radio button for the radio button number 1, whichever one that was, I don't even remember, first. If you pick first, I want the focus of the application to go directly to this text field. So I want to like select the text field. Now, I'm not selecting it in the sense of it's an option. Basically, what I want to do is I want to set what's called focus. So focus is where is the cursor? Okay? Now, without anything going on, if I fire this guy up, the focus is going to be on basically let's just see where the focus is. Is it the first thing? Yeah, it's the first thing in the list. Okay, that's where the focus is. You can tell it's focused because it's got the little blue thing. So now can you tell that that's focused? Can you tell that that's focused? Can you tell that that's focused, right? It's got the little blue thing around it. Okay, good. All right, so let me add my text field in here. So if you want to interrupt the flow, so to speak, I'll make that TF1. Like in an event handler, like here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say TF1 and then request focus. Like that. Yeah, I tell you what, I need to move all of this guy. Son of a gun. I need to move him down way, 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 way down here so that the scope works. Okay. So if I wanted to change the focus, that's how it would be done. Let me try it. All right, so here we go. So right now the focus is on this guy, right? And so when I click this, nothing happens. But if I click on this guy and hit that, doing, see how the focus has changed? And so the blue is now down at the bottom and the blinking cursor is inside that text field, okay? That's pretty doggone cool. And if you were paying attention, you could probably tell why I'm explaining this, because this is something you may need to be able to do on an upcoming example. Okay. So, one more time. One of the reasons I like combo boxes, before we leave combo boxes, is that if I want to find out if something is set or not, okay? I would do something like this. I would basically say, if CMB1 get value. and then equals whatever, you know, mustard or whatever, right? Then do something, right? So that's the reason why I like this guy, because it just, to me, it's simpler. I can do get value. I don't have to do this funky stuff. I don't know. I just kind of sort of like it. Okay. Kind of sort of makes sense. Moving on. The next one is the slider control. Page 850. So this is kind of cool. And this is about, you're trying to select a number, but you don't really care what the number is. Like, for example, I'm trying to like adjust the screen brightness. And so I've got my hand on a little slider and I'm pulling it across. And I got it to the exact brightness that I want and I let go. But I don't really care what the number is. No, the number is not relevant. It's how bright things are or whatever it is, right? So the slider is about, yes, I want a number, but I couldn't tell you what the number is. I can just tell you after the fact. That kind of makes sense? So let's go do a slider control. Okay. So slider controls are actually kind of sort of simple to set up. The only problem is their event handler is very, very, very bizarre. So here we go. I'm gonna try to keep my event handlers at the bottom, which is tough for me to do. So I'm just gonna say slider, I don't know, S1 is equal to new. Whoa, hang on. New slider, and of course, it's never heard of a slider before in its entire life. Okay, cool. Before I forget, let me add the slider to the end. Okay. Cool. All right. Now, so by default, it's going to come up with numbers between 0 and 100. That's basically how it starts up. So I'm going to go in and tweak this guy a little bit. I'm going to say I want to do set show tick marks, set show tick marks, and I'm going to say, or tick labels. That's fine. I needed both tick marks and tick labels. True. Then S1 set show tick marks true. Okay. So all I do is just kind of decorate this guy. Oh, come on. All right, let's see what this thing looks like. Again, I'm not setting up the default values. I'm just going to leave them as they are at 0 and 100. So there they are, between 0 and 100. And so I'm pulling this thing across, and it's not actually doing anything, obviously, but it's pretty cool. Okay, now the event handler for this guy is complex. And so I am deliberately going to cheat and just copy and paste because that event handler is rough. But I'll get it started. So I'm going to cheat and do what? I'm just going to copy and paste this guy. Well, at least I can if I get in there. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to go in and do something slightly different. Well, let me make the red squigglies go away. I had to have a thing called a change listener and an observable value. And trust me, this is not one of those things that I have committed to memory. Okay, I don't. So all I'm saying is, if I don't commit it to memory, I certainly ain't expecting you to. Okay. So let's just run this thing and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So all this is going to do is spit out the number in that text box. So see how the numbers are changing as I'm sliding this guy across? Cool. That's all you need to know about how to make a slider control work. And of course, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark.